It's mating season. All around the world right now, animals are preparing to get busy. And I don't mean collecting nuts. For millions of species of animals right now, the next few months will be a time of vigor, fun, competition, and sex. And how does this apply to you? Over the next few months, you're going to start to notice a change in the behavior of the people around you. If you are a man, you may notice that women are looking at you and smiling at you much more often than usual. If you are a woman, you may find yourself suddenly thinking about sex much more often. You may find yourself feeling aroused more often, or you may find yourself strangely aroused by someone you wouldn't normally find attractive. Or you may find that suddenly almost all the men around you seem much more attractive than they did a few weeks ago. And while this can be a bit puzzling at times, the unique energy that springtime brings can be a real blessing. Let's face it, the world would be a better place if everyone was in love, right? If everyone was in a loving relationship, a loving sexual relationship with someone they were genuinely attracted to. Wouldn't that be most ideal? Well, in a world where women are the goalies and men take the shots, and where men and women are always happier when a goal happens, isn't it nice that sometimes the sport suddenly gets easier? And while I just used a soccer analogy to describe romantic pairings, tennis might actually be a better analogy. You see, for men, trying to have a connection with a woman is sometimes like playing tennis against Serena Williams. And other times, trying to connect with a woman can be like playing tennis with someone who immediately just drops their racket and walks off court. But under the right circumstances, suddenly, women will turn into a very different tennis player. They won't smash every time you make a bad joke. They won't do a drop shot every time you show some vulnerability. And when the circumstances are just right, a woman will even let you win. So this spring, if you suddenly notice your conversations with women going much more smoothly, or even if they seem to be smiling more at you, laughing at your bad jokes, and if they seem like they don't want the conversation to end, it might not be you. There's a good chance it's them. The female members of millions of different species are hardwired to be more sexually receptive during mating season. And while mating season happens at different times of the year for different animals, it's most commonly in springtime. Think about it. What happens if you get pregnant during the spring? Well, you can pretty much be guaranteed that your baby will be exposed to good weather almost during the entire pregnancy, especially the beginning of the pregnancy. Now, the first few months of pregnancy are incredibly important. Scientists have even tied many health problems and disorders to specific weeks in the pregnancy. For the same reason you wouldn't lock a pregnant woman in a walk-in freezer for 30 minutes, you probably would concede that a pregnant woman being exposed to cold and extremely cold temperatures in nature probably isn't the best for the baby, right? In fact, this can even explain astrology. Well, why would this be? Because almost every baby born in a certain month experienced a very similar pregnancy. Their moms were all using furnaces or fireplaces during the 5th week of the pregnancy, or air conditioning during the 16th week of pregnancy. They all had freezing weathers during the 7th week of pregnancy, or scorching hot summer weather during the 11th week of pregnancy. And while it will change a bit from year to year and vary a bit from country to country, in a broad sense, people born at the same time almost always experience a similar pregnancy. So, it is springtime. And what are we going to do? Make super babies? Well, it is a modern world, and I certainly hope you aren't making babies with someone you met 5 minutes earlier in the public park. But this natural drive, this natural inclination during springtime can make a fabulous time to start a new relationship. So if you find yourself with some extra sexual energy, with some extra figure this springtime, don't waste it all away on the internet. Don't fap it all away until you feel like hibernating again. Because this springtime, you may just find that the people you are attracted to are suddenly the most receptive they have been in several months. For the next few months, the game will be easier, so don't waste these months at home playing with a simulation. One more thing I'd like to say is earlier I talked about springtime and springtime pregnancies. Well, is springtime a better time to make babies? Here is an interesting factoid. If you look at the world's most popular sports, you will see that in many sports, the best athlete of all time was born between late November and early February. Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, Nolan Ryan, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Jack Nicklaus, Bo Jackson, and Muhammad Ali. You guessed it. In most major sports, the GOAT was a springtime pregnancy. Now, there are many exceptions to this, and of course, after you watch this video, you may go on a search engine and research all the athletes you can think of. Before you do, I will tell you this: most of the other GOATs are born in August, or they were born in a country where it is hot year-round. So springtime isn't as important for babies in that country, or they were born in the southern hemisphere instead, where springtime begins in September. So I will leave you with that. And if you ever want to make a super baby and you live in the northern hemisphere, try to do it during springtime. So for the same reason you wouldn't lock a pregnant woman in the walk-in closet. In fact, this can even explain astrology.